says 3. No one is missing question 1. Do not miss question 1. Is it growth or decay? Growth. 1.08 is bigger than 1. What is the percent? 8. Because we are 8% bigger than 1. What is the initial value? 16. Good? Number 2. What does the equation look like that I'm shooting for? Y equals A times B to the X. And if I look at my ordered pairs, what do I know about A? A is 2/3, right? So already I'm going to put 2/3 in for my A. Now, how am I going to figure out my B? I'm going to put in the other point. So Y is 3/2, and D is 2. Now, there are lots of options that you have here. You got to get B by itself. You got to solve this thing for B. So don't I need to get rid of that 2/3? So the way Mrs. Field did it, and I know you didn't all have Mrs. Field, but the way Mrs. Fields does this over and over and over again in Algebra 1 is, she says, multiply by the reciprocal. Because what happens when I multiply 3/2 times 2/3? What happens to that? It's gone. So I times by 3 and divide by 2, and that takes care of both of those numbers. So what does B squared equal? 9/4? These don't cancel. This is 3 times 3, 2 times 2. This is 9/4. So what's B? 3/2. So what's the answer to my question? 2/3 times 3/2 to the X. Do not ever multiply those. You have 2 separate numbers in your equation. An A and a B. Okay, now we have all these simplifies. So yeah, thank you. Yesterday we did really well with this set of problems. Let's see if we can do it again. What do you want to do with 16 to the negative 3/4? Make it 1/16 to the 3/4. And what does the 3/4 mean? It means a 4th root cubed. What's the 4th root of 1? 1. What's the 4th root of 16? 2. The square root of 16 is 4. I'm going to keep working that wrong. The 4th root of 16 is 2. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. But then you have to cube it, so the answer is 1/8. 4 to the negative 3rd. What does that mean? It means 4 over, well, this is 4/1, so I got to make it 1/4 to the 3rd. 1 cubed is 1. 4 cubed, if you don't have it memorized, then you're going to multiply 4 times 4 times 4, and it is 64. We've used that a lot, so you might have it memorized. If you don't, you can figure it out. How about C? Flip it and done. So the answer is 16/9. There's no power in there, it's just 1. How about T? 1/3, that's another one. Boy, if you miss that, I might step on your toes. 1/3. LNE cancels. All right, E is kind of a tricky one. We've had one of these on every practice test. I'm gonna set it equal to X. Then I can log roll it, and 3 to the X is 27, and then I can see my answer is 3. 3 cubed is 27. All right. F. Let's work on the inside first. What can I do to the inside? Well, nothing with the 4 and the 9. How about my X's? What's happening with my X's? I'm gonna have 2 extras on the bottom. Now be careful with your Y's, just like yesterday, they're both switching. So we have 11 of them over 5 of them. So I'm gonna be left with 6 of them on the top. Everybody with me? What does the 1/2 mean? The 1/2 means square root. Isn't that what 1/2 means? So I need to square root 4. What's the square root of 4? 2. I need to square root 9. 3. Now, when I have a double exponent, I multiply. So what's 6 times 1/2? 3. And what's 2 times 1/2? There it is. Before you get confused, if that were 2, you would all tell me that's y to the 12th. If it were 2, you'd say y to the 12th. You multiply those exponents. It doesn't change because it's a fraction. You still multiply the exponents. G, 19. H, that's another one. I'm going to go ahead and set it equal to X. I'm also going to insert a 10 because LOG means base 10. So what do I get? 10 to the X is 100. So X is 2. Yep. What happens with I? It flips and becomes 5/2 to the second. So that's not a square root, that's a squared. So that's going to be 25 over 4. What is a square root? That would be 1/2 power, right? 2 is just square, just square. And what about J? That one's also 1/3, okay. All right, now, you have some equations to solve. What's your thought on this guy? Exactly. Kids, isn't it a logarithm equal to a number? We log roll every time. So this is going to be 2 cubed equals 2x minus 1. You're going to log roll a lot on your test, so make sure you know anytime you have log equals number, you're going to log roll it. So 8 equals 2x minus 1, 9 equals 2x, and it looks like x equals 9/2. What do I do here? This looks tricky. Divide by 5. I don't know what 160 divided by 5 is. So I'll do it right over here, 32. That problem was on another practice test, exactly this problem. Who remembers what we did? Find the common base. And what common base did we use when we have a 4 and a 32?
2.
2. It gotta go to 2. This isn't a power of 4. They're both powers of 2. So 4 is 2 squared. And 32 is 2 to the, anybody remember? Fifth. If you don't remember, that's fine, just figure it out. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So then 2x equals 5, and x equals 5 halves. Get a common base. If we had our calculators, could we log both sides of this? Yep. Would we get the same answer? But without a calculator, we have to get a common base. All right, what about this one? Divide by -2. And you might want to slip a 10 in there. Because we're gonna what? Log roll. So 10 to the -2nd equals x. What's 10 to the -2nd? 1 over 10 squared, which is 1 over 100. All right. 1/8. 2 to the 3x over 4 equals 8. Step 1. Divide by 1/8, which is the same as multiplying by 8. So 2 to the 3x over 4 equals 64. Guys, that problem's exactly like this one. We need a common base. Now, you're not gonna break 2 down. So I'm gonna leave 2 alone. I can't do anything with 2. What about 64 though? Is that 2 to a power? I hope so. 2 to the what? 6. Isn't 64 32 times 2? And if that's 5 2's, then that's going to be 6 2's. Come on, put that thinking cap on. So 3x over 4 equals 6. Once the bases are the same, I don't need them anymore. Times by 4 and divide by 3. So what's x? 8. Easy, easy, easy. All right, E looks good. All right, look at it. Come on, it's the last period of the day, guys. We'll get a test next time. Are you ready? Combine. And when they combine, look, I want you to get in the habit of writing that. Write log base 4 and then 1 giant parentheses. What's going to go in that giant parentheses? The 2x and the x plus 1. But see that minus? When I put these together, this time they're going together as a divide, fraction. So it's going to be 2x over x plus 1. Now, I have logarithm equals number, so I'm going to log rule that. So 4 to the 3rd equals 2x over x plus 1. This doesn't frighten me. We can do this. What's 4 to the 3rd? 64. Don't I need to bring this guy over here? So that's going to be 64 x plus 1 equals 2x. This comes over, I times it over. So 64x plus 64 equals 2x. What do I do with that? Don't I need to get my x's on the same side? So let's move this one over. So 64 equals negative 62x. And x equals 64 over negative 62, which is 32 over negative 31. That's actually extraneous. Because if I plug it in right here, wouldn't that be negative? Wouldn't that be a negative number? And what do we know happens when we try to press log of a negative number? Error, right? Now, I don't want you freaking about this. Can they be extraneous? Yes. But that's only, if you end up with this answer, and you put that in the answer blank, it's only gonna be a teensy-weensy bit off. All right? It's not a big deal, okay? All right. Now, we got another one that looks very similar. Where am I? This one, don't I need to combine those? So I'm gonna write log base 3 parentheses equals log base 3 and 5. And I'm gonna combine these. So in the parentheses is going an x plus 1 and an x. I just need to figure out what I'm gonna do with that x plus 1 and x. It's a division. Because that's a subtraction. So x plus 1 over x. Now, do not log rule, because that's not a number. But what do I do when I have log equals log? These are gone. They disappear. So x plus 1 over x equals 5 times by x. Subtract x. And it looks like x is 1/4. And that one's not extraneous, so I'm all good with x equals 1/4. Oh my, this looks so familiar. What do I need to do? I still don't have a calculator. I need to get a common base. I see a 4 and an 8. What's the common base? Jose! Are you sick, sweetheart? Okay. So, we have 4 and 8. What's our common base? 2. So 2 squared and 2 cubed. So 2x equals 3, and x equals 3 halves. What about this one? So rewrite it as what it is, which is log base c. Rewrite ln as log base c. And now we can log rule it. And actually we're done. That's it. E squared. And oh my goodness, don't you dare miss this guy. 7 squared equals x. So x is 40. These guys together. So again, we can't leave the logarithms out. When we're putting them together, we're gonna write log parentheses. And then we're gonna figure out what to put in the parentheses. So we have a log of one thing now. So I have an X and a Y. What am I gonna do with the X and the Y? Divide. And I have this 3, which is going to be an exponent on the Y. And there's my answer. It's so easy if you know your rules. Now we're doing the same thing backwards here. So you're going to have a log of X, and you're going to have a log of Y. So what am I going to do in between them here? Add them. What happens to that? Out in front of just the X. Easy. All right. Log base 6 of 13. Now I got a calculator now, okay? We have our calculators. What occurs to you when you look at this problem? 6 to the X equals 13. Now, if this were a 36, this would be a super simple problem. Okay, I have a calculator. What am I going to do? I'm going to log both sides. Because X log 6 will equal log 13. So I'll divide by log 6. And would that be my answer? Log 13 divided by log 6. I got 1.432. Step 1, divide by 4. So 3 to the X equals, now feel free to leave it 15/4, but if you would rather use 3.75, that's fine. I don't want you rounding that number off, but that one divides nicely, so you can do that if you wish. And then, isn't it just like that one now? Don't I need to log both sides? So what's X going to equal? Log 3.75 over log 3. And I got 1.203. Okay, now we're back to where we started today. So we've already done one that looks kind of like this. How do we start? Divide by 4. Now 17/4 is fine. If you want to write that 4.25, you can, because it does divide evenly. Now we'll ln both sides. That actually goes away. So 1.3x equals ln 4.25. And ln 4.25 divided by 1.3 is, yep, 1.113. Awesome. we are doing great. Now all we have left are our word problems. So, let me write my formulas down. You read the first problem and tell me which formula I need for the first problem. She says the one I'm writing right now, that one right there. Compounded quarterly. So N is 4. So here we go. I'm going to use that formula. I just have to write my formula down. All right, now what am I plugging in? I have $150 to start with. How much am I ending with then? 300, because it tells me I am doubling. What is the interest rate? 0.0175 divided by 4 raised to the 4t. Shoot. What does that tell me? I'm in informants. That's okay. What's step 1? Divide by 150. So 2 equals, I wonder if that works out nicely. Yeah, 1.004375. Now, you don't have to do that. You don't have, I just typed this in on my calculator and got this. You do not have to do that. If I were doing this problem on my own at home, I wouldn't do that. But some of you get all baffled when you have junk like this. So if you need that to be a single number, go ahead. Type it in. Now, I need that T. So at this point, I'm going to log. Because when I log, that 4t, the whole 4t, comes out in front. So the log of 2 equals 4t log that. Now, stop letting yourself get all wrapped up in crap. Stop. What do you need to do? You need to get t. How are we going to get rid of that 4 right there? We're going to divide. So I'm going to take my calculator, and I'm going to take the log of 2, and I'm going to divide it by 4. Now, that number is gone, right? How am I going to get rid of this right here? Divide that. Isn't this a times right here? So I'm going to divide by that. So I'm going to take the number on my calculator, and I'm going to hit divided by log 1.004375.
What do we divided by?
39.695 years. So once again, this is just calculator practice. It's common sense. Take the log of 2 divided by 4, it equals, divide by this. It equals, and you'll have your answer. Because to get t by itself, you have to divide by both of those numbers. Do it one at a time, because otherwise you're going to need parentheses. Okay? B. How much will be in the account at the end of 25 years if I am compounding monthly? Which formula? Same one. How much will be in the account if 9876 is deposited at 0.02125 over 12 after 25 years? This is like the best ever, because I'm going to multiply 12 times 25. Is that 300?
Yeah.
And then I am just going to type. No logarithms, just type. I got $16,791.75. Okay, last one. Which problem, or which formula, do I need for problem C? This is a PERT. PERT is used for anything that's not money and for money that's compounded continuously. That's when PERT is used. So this is not money. So here we go. What do I know? I have 4, 5, 6, 7 of these things. They're growing into 8888 of them. I do not know how long it's going to take, but I know their constant is 0.234. Divide. Do not simplify that one, or don't, you can't simplify that one. Just leave it 888 over 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to ln both sides. This is going to go away then. So we have ln, our unit fraction. And then we need to divide by 0.234. And that will be our answer, hopefully. So ln 8888 divided by 4, 5, 6, 7, close parentheses, divided by 0.234. I got 2.845 years, I guess. I don't even know what the time period is, but I'll say years. Is that what you got? Practice test 3 in the book. Good job. You have 10 more minutes to do extra problems. So I want you to look at practice test 3 and tell me which specific problem we need to do another example of. So which specific problem on practice test 3 do I need to do another example of? Noah.
Can you do number 2 again, just so I can just so I can get it in my head?
Jose, can I see your record, please? I need it. Oh, Lord.
Okay, so I'm gonna write an exponential function. And the points I have are 0, 4, and 3, 1/2. Okay, so I know A is 4, so I'm starting with that. I have this equation now. So what happens next? I'm gonna put my 1/2 here and my 3 here. Now, every time we put fractions in here, people wig out. So how about we times by 2 and get rid of the fraction? So 1 equals 8b cubed. Now we'll divide by 8. and then we will cube root. What is the cube root of 1 over 8? 1/2. So my answer is y equals 4 times 1/2. Do not multiply those together. All right, what else? Give me a specific problem number for practice test 3. We'll do another one.
Can we do one of the another per problem?
Yep. What interest rate compounded continuously will double our money in 10 years? Now, how do I know this is a perch? Because regardless of my spelling, it's compounded continuously. So that is immediate clue, this is perch. I'm doubling my money, that's all I know. Which means I can start with, I don't know, let's start with 50. And then I'll end up with 100. Start with whatever you want, just end up with double it. I don't know what R is, that's what I'm trying to figure out, but it's gonna happen in 10 years. So I have to do what? What do I have to do first? Divide by 50. So 2 equals e to the 10r. Then I'll ln both sides. How do I know I need a logarithm? Because my variable is up there. These are gonna go away, so ln2 equals 10r. And r equals ln2 over 10. Now, let's go ahead and type that in. But remember that the question specifically said what interest rate? So when I type this in, I got 0.0693147. But that in terms of a percentage is going to be 6.931%.
If it's double, you automatically put that to it.
Yeah. 2 here and then we'll do 2 here and then we'll do 1 here. All right. Who else? Do another one. Get ready for our test next time.
On here, that ln divided by 10.
ln2.
ln2 divided by 10.
Yes.
Put the 2 parentheses.
Yeah, if you haven't closed the parentheses, it won't work right. You're talking about that. Maybe that's what you had your. All right, who else? Let's do another one. One more. I am not letting you escape, people, until we do another problem. Yes, Megan?
Can we do like F on number 3?
3F. 3F is another exponent simplification problem. So let's make it 27/8 x cubed x to the negative 9 y to the third y to the 9 to the 2/3 power. Let's make it negative 2/3 power. Okay? So, forget everything, start inside. So what can we simplify inside? 27 and 8 don't reduce. However, these 9 are going to come up to the top and make x to the 12th. Nothing's moving here, but they are canceling, so that'll be y to the 6th. Everybody good with that? Now, what does the negative do? Flips it. So we'll flip it. Not change a thing, just flip it. Now, what does a 2/3 exponent mean? Cube root. So I need to take the cube root of h and square it. What is the cube root of 8 squared? 4. I need to take the cube root of 27 and square it. 9. Cube root of 27 is 3, but it has to be squared. Oh, so that's going to be 9. Now, what do I do with these exponents? Multiply. So 6 over 1 times 2 over 3. 12 thirds, which is 4. And then 12 over 1 times 2 over 3, 8. There we go. All right, let's sit quietly, gather your things, get organized.